guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is called My Normal Girl Skincare Routine, and the reason why it is called this is because skincare has been overrun with experts and influencers for a very long time now. I really need a mic. These planes are getting crazy. But I feel like this leads to something that should not be as complicated becoming very overcomplicated. And I'm not blaming people for wanting to seek out more information and seek out resources. And to an extent, I know there are a lot of people who find it fun and enjoyable to experiment with skincare. But for me, at least, coming from my perspective, I think a lot of those products that are supposed to be the fanciest, that are the most expensive, do more harm than good, depending on what they are and who makes them. Let's start with, where am I coming from when I'm talking about this? I am not a person who ever has struggled with very severe acne. That hasn't been my life. So the things that I recommend may not work for you. However, I used to have more breakouts. When I used these products, it improved that. I also used to get hormonal acne, which was a separate thing. All throughout high school, I didn't really have this on my face. But when I got to be around 19 years old, for some reason, all of a sudden, which we later learned the reason was health issues and worsening endometriosis somehow resulted in this, but I suddenly started getting these really painful cystic acne pimples, and it would only be a few at one time. When I got on my medication for endometriosis, that fixed the hormonal acne problem. The stuff that I used for my facial care is not really applicable to that, but it is applicable to the problems I used to have starting out before I got the hormonal issues. All the products I'm going to show you today are going to be geared towards that, and also geared towards the fact that I have kind of delicate skin. I'm not ultra sensitive skin, but I do have more sensitive leaning skin. So if that sounds like you and that's something that you're willing to hear about, then I will show you the normal ass products that I use that are very basic and from the drugstore mostly. Starting off with my cleanser is my Cetaphil Gentle Skin Cleanser, and it has to be this specific one. I cannot use any other cleanser, even from Cetaphil. I've tried to use the normal one. It made my skin sting and burn because it had more of like a scent to it. I can't deal with that. But every morning and night, I wash my face with this cleanser. Some people double cleanse, but not me because I have drier-ish skin. So I don't like to wash my face twice during the same time period. And then immediately after that, which I also use twice a day, is my alcohol-free toner from Neutrogena. If you are going to get a toner, do not get one that has alcohol in it. And this is where I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I used to purchase or that my mom used to buy for me when I was younger that were not the move, unfortunately. I've heard a lot of people talk about St. Ives, like the apricot scrub for the face, and how they've now realized that it is a complete travesty. Like, that is kind of what the vibe of this stuff was. I used to get these facial cleansers, probably from brands like Neutrogena and CeraVe or something, that followed the trends. And at that point, a lot of the cleansers had like the beads in them, you know, that would just scratch the hell out of your face. Yeah, no thanks. And then I also used to get these Stridex pads, which I'm gonna insert a picture, but the Stridex were like this densely packed liquid. It might have even been like a toner, like a densely packed liquid soaked toner pad almost, that you would put in your problem areas, and it would burn the shit out of my face. But when this would happen, I would think, oh, it's supposed to be like that. No, it would genuinely just make things worse. So that is why I'm saying, do not ever get an alcohol-based toner. I think it does more harm for you than good, but the right toner can do a lot for your skin and for your skin issues. It took me a couple tries to find the right one, but if you are the person who you get blackheads like in these areas, I really do not have that problem anymore since I have been using this toner for years. Some people may need to use it only once a day. It makes my skin feel more clean, so I'm good with using it twice a day. But if my skin already feels agitated, then I skip this step and I don't use it. And there were also times where I just needed to go to the dermatologist. I used to get a bunch of blocked pores along my lower face. And when I was given tretinoin and I used that consistently, it fixed that issue, and it hasn't come back since, because that was also during the period when I was having hormonal issues. So don't be afraid to go to the dermatologist. Don't just listen to like Cindy Lou online who's like, you need this glow recipe cleanser. Don't just take somebody else's word for it. If you really want the solid advice, go to the doctor, the dermatologist, but also fact check what they say. There's a balance between going to the doctor for help, but also if it's not working, don't be afraid to further educate yourself. Now I have two separate moisturizers. The one that I use for during the day is the La Roche-Posay Double Repair Face Moisturizer with SPF 30. This is very light for the daytime, and it also has a little bit of SPF in it. I really want to find a wearable actual sunscreen for my face and body for the summer, but it's just really hard to find one that's easy and comfortable to reapply and that doesn't stain my clothes, because I do not want to be ruining my clothes with my sunscreen. And I don't really even reapply this either. You're supposed to reapply SPF. So when I know I'm going to be out in the sun, that's usually when I take the step to do my Supergoop SPF lotion on the body and the SPF on the face. The unseen sunscreen, I think is what it's called. I'll use that when I know that I'm going to be out in the sun, but I need something more for every day. But in terms of just moisturizing, this is very light on the skin. It blends in easily. It might leave you a little bit of an oily sheen, but I just tap over it with one single square of toilet paper so that I'm not really wiping the SPF off, but that I'm just kind of blotting away any additional shine that I don't want. And then for my nighttime moisturizer, which is a heavier moisturizer, I have the Ordinary Natural Moisturizing Factors plus HA lotion. I really like this. It is very comfortable on the skin, but it is thicker. It's something more so that you'd be wanting to wear to bed than wearing out during the day. But depending on your needs, like if your skin is like dry, then you can use this during the day. I've had times where I had to briefly use this during the day and it worked out fine for me. The Ordinary is a pretty reputable brand. La Roche-Posay is a pretty reputable brand. Neutrogena, reputable brand, but these also are not the cute ones. You know what I mean? Their packaging is low-key ugly, and that's okay. Sometimes the stuff that is made to look the prettiest does not actually do the most for you. And most people cannot be affording, and I don't even mean monetarily, even though that is an element of this. Most people cannot be like affording to be destroying their skin, trying new things every other week. This is why I actually worry for influencers that get sent a lot of skincare PR, because I'm wondering, how are you dealing with having all of this miscellaneous random crap on your face? It's too much. And then the one active chemical exfoliant that I don't use this all of the time, and I don't use it over broad areas, is the Differin Gel, which I usually use this more like a spot treatment, or if I have an area that has blocked pores, I will usually just dab that on and let it dry. If you use too much of this, it will burn your skin and make it peel, so just be careful. If you have a lot of acne, I would probably get something from the dermatologist before I would just rub something harsh like this all over it, because that might be too much depending on your situation. And that's it for my normal everyday skincare routine. That is literally it. We have one cleanser, we have one toner, and we have 2 lotions and 1 spot treatment. See how normal that is? Hence the title, Normal Girl Skincare Routine. We're being very normal over here right now. And like, skincare products are not cheap. The stuff that I showed is not the cheapest available options, especially when it comes to the La Roche-Posay. I feel like it's one of the pricier ones, but that is more 20-something dollars, almost pushing $30. Whereas a lot of these other things that people include in their daily skincare routines are $60 a bottle, and they come with less product. Just because something's pricier does not necessarily mean that it's better. And if there is an expensive skincare product that you're interested in, don't buy it just because an influencer said so. And honestly, don't even buy it because a TikTok expert told you. Read reviews, and I would seriously look at what people without a vast social media presence have said about it. But the two things that I use most commonly for like special occasions or like certain instances when I feel like I need to use it is I have this The Ordinary Salicylic Acid Mask. And I use this when I feel like my skin is really clogged, and it works pretty much immediately. I just brush it on all around, sometimes just in the areas I need it. Other times I do it like the whole face. And I do this a maximum typically of twice a year because most of the time the toner keeps away any of the clogged pores and blackheads. But if I need a little bit extra clearing of the skin, I will use this and just wash it off after. And then sometimes I like to use these Creme Shop sheet masks. These more so just make your skin feel nice, and it's fun to do. I haven't been doing as many lately. I might get back into it now, but the Creme Shop, even though sometimes they have a strong scent, this is why I do not use them all the time, but they don't really irritate my skin. Would I use it if my skin was irritated already? No. But if my skin is just normal right now, it's usually fine to use, and it leaves my skin feeling more rejuvenated and glowy and hydrated. And this is specifically one of my favorite ones, the Squalene with the rose oil. So that's really it for the video. And if you want my credential to be recommending stuff to you, I think my skin, I do have a light layer of foundation just over my cheeks because I have redness due to my vasculitis. But my skin looks pretty nice, right? And like I said, I am on the medication for the hormonal element, but everything else that I recommended did work for clearing out congested skin and reduced the frequency of my normal breakouts that were not driven by hormonal imbalances. If you know anything about sunscreen, or if your skin sounds similar to mine, comment suggestions for me down below, because I really want to actually commit to wearing a sunscreen this summer. And I say this every year, but it just never seems to work out for me because I can't find the right one. If you enjoyed today's video, comment whatever emoji I put up on the screen, because I'm having a moment of being uncertain which emoji I want to use. So just whatever I'm pointing to, comment that down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.